Now this is very different. I'm not used to having the main protagonist as the sensei of our other characters, because normally when it comes to light novel series, usually the protagonist in like a fantasy world or something typically is like the main character that's going to be on the front lines, kicking ass, being a badass, doing the main stuff, the main action part. But this episode reveals, and lets us know pretty early on in the episode, that our main male character, he cannot fight on the front lines. Now, maybe in the past he did, which we saw, but he can't do that anymore because the way his body is. And he's more in a role of being as a mentor slash sensei for all of our other characters in SukaSuka. Gotta admit, I like that. I actually do like that, because it's a breath of fresh air. I'm so used to having, like, the main male character or whatever, actually going in, being the badass, destroying all the monsters or whatever, and that's kind of what the protagonist is about. But having a protagonist as the supporting character, like a character that supports the other characters, allows them to grow and allows them to fight on the battlefield, I like that change. Definitely caught my interest. It's definitely something that I was like, you know what? I like this. I accept this. And I really appreciate how SukaSuka is trying to be a little bit different from the normal light novel series I often read. So well done on that regard. So let's talk about the details. Our main male character has had quite the shit life. I mean, it explains a lot why he's trying to allow the girls to understand what is going on and why they should kind of love their life and why they shouldn't just throw it away. We kind of understand now why he acts like he does, but also why he acts like he's battle-hardened, or it seems like he's been through a lot of shit. It is revealed in this episode that a long time ago, he was fighting like this strong-ass demon. He was taking it down. He did a very big wound to this demon, and the demon had to go into, like, slumber for, like, 100 years. While our main male character, that was pretty much at the point of death, like, he's basically dead, had a petrification curse, and he was frozen until finally he was awakened hundreds of years in the future, which is where we're at right now. And so, once the main male character wakes up, we have to realize what's going on here in his head. He wakes up to a world and realizes everything that his team fought for, everyone that he loved, his entire family, everything that he did in the past was all for nothing. Everything he did in the past was for nothing, like ruining his body. As we found out, his body is completely destroyed. He can barely function as a regular person because of all the wounds he got from his previous battles. His body's barely holding together, and it shows that when he even tries to fight, it really does a lot of, stress on his body to where he could possibly even just kill over and die, which we see in this episode. So the character, he is throwing away everything. He has done everything in the past. He's stood up to fight against these monsters to save humanity. He has lost his family, his children. He has lost anyone he cares about. His body is completely shattered, and his entire race is basically extinct. He has lost everything, and you gotta realize from that standpoint, that's pretty fucking sad. That's really sad when you look at our main character like that and realize he has nothing anymore, and it explains why he, probably needed this, why he needed to watch over these children and all that, making sure giving them the reason to live, because if he didn't get this reason or whatever to continue on day after day, he most likely wouldn't have cared. He probably would have wound up on some ditch or something dead, because he probably wouldn't care with after how much he's already been through and what he's already lost. Now we kind of understand why he seems a lot happier now that he's watching over these girls, because he has a reason to wake up every morning and live on, and that is why he's trying to teach these girls, like, the importance of their own life and that there might be another way instead of sacrificing themselves and just dying, which, once again, I want to say, I do like the way this series is tackling that. As I said in last week's episode review, I usually am used to characters when they find out something that's really wrong with a certain character or what's going on in this organization, they tend to freak out, be melodramatic, and shit just goes rather south or sour, and you're like, what the fuck? And the main character didn't really do that. He taught these girls in a different way. He didn't have to do the stereotypical cliche route of freaking out like they're different, they don't fear death or whatever. He actually taught them another way, to make him actually see what he's talking about. And I like that side to this series. That's not trying to go down the typical path of a regular light novel series. That is something that truly has me excited for future episodes. But that isn't just where it stops, though. I also gotta say, I fought the lizard dude, the commander. I figured he was gonna be an asshole. I thought he was. When I saw him introduced and all that, I figured he was gonna be one of those characters that was just gonna be an asshole for the sake of being an asshole, because he's that commander, he's higher up there. I feel like he was just gonna throw all the girls out there as cannon fodder just to kill them off, and he doesn't give a shit about their life. That's what I figured what type of character he would be, but apparently he is not. He actually does care about the girls. He doesn't just want to throw them out there to die, and he even actually supports them caring about their own lives and not willing to just go off and die and be a suicide bomber. He actually does care about them, and he's like, I believe in you, I support you or whatever, and I'm willing to take the risk if you don't want to do that, kill yourself. I completely understand. I like the lizard commander. He's a really good dude. I have to give props to him. I thought he was going to be that typical commander that was going to be an asshole, I was going to dislike, main male character's going to have to come in and just knock some shit into him, but that didn't happen as well. So once again, SukaSuka surprising me with how different it's trying to be from the regular story that's, adapted from a light novel into an anime. I'm just surprised. So, we have a competent commander, which, death flags, that man's probably going to die, because if there's anything I know when it comes to regular series, usually when you have a competent commander that is a really good dude, especially in this type of series, they tend to die. So I'm going to say that most likely the commander is going to die. He probably won't live long. I mean, he might live for the next 5 or so episodes, but I know for a fact probably sometime down the road, may not even be in the anime, but he's definitely one of those type of characters that would die, because he's just too kind. He's too good of a dude to probably survive in this series. And also, speaking of death flags, Death Flag fucking Central. Oh my god, okay, so Gundam is over, so obviously we need a new series with a bunch of death flags, and I think I found it. SukaSuka, damn, the death flags are unreal in this episode for our characters. Now, I don't know how far this series wants to take it. See, like I said, I'm an anime only. I've been told that this is a very good series. It's going to be sad, tragic, whatever, but I don't know how far the series is willing to take it, so I have no clue where it's going to go. But there is a lot of death flags, a hell of a lot of death flags in this episode, and I was like, are they trying to say that the main male character might die? Or, maybe the main female character is going to die? Or what's going to happen here? I mean, we know in the first episode that we had, a flash forward. We got to see kind of what was going to happen later on, and it seems like our main female character might kill herself off still, regardless. So there is a possibility she still can die. But I'm kind of curious, though. I mean, there was a lot of death flags. I wonder if the series has the balls to actually go that far. I mean, one of the big things is just our main male character, he can't really push himself that far to try to save anyone. But I wonder if he's willing to push himself that far to die for them. I mean, hey, the protagonist dying, he's like a sensei. Normally, senseis in series tend to die to sacrifice themselves for the other characters. I can see that too, but I don't know if the series is willing to go down that route. That's what I'm kind of curious about. So death flags all over the place, and I don't know how to take it right now. I don't know if it's going to happen or not. I mean, with the main male character saying, I want to make you some bread and all that, and when you get back, you'll eat till you, have heartburn, I'm like, that's exactly what the person he loves said to him before he disappeared. Even though he didn't die, technically everybody else died. So I'm kind of curious, is that going to happen? Is there going to be a repeat where everybody dies around him and he just goes into a freaking breakdown? I'm curious about that because of the way this episode was set up. But anyways, though, episode overall of SukaSuka, it was, it was a good episode. I mean, it got a lot of world building out of the way, especially when it came to the legendary weapons. Apparently, they're all made up with minor talismans, which, whoa, that's pretty damn crazy. Just, realizing that these legendary blades are not actually just completely legendary and, all the things that make them up is, godlike. It's just minor talismans pressed together in a certain way to allow it to where this blade can be that strong. So, that's pretty cool. I like the world building that this, episode is trying to do. I like seeing, the past and seeing what those, creatures looked like. I like seeing the main male character in a different light instead of, acting like he has been in the past couple episodes. Overall, it was a decent episode. Can't wait to see where it's going to go, and can't wait to see how far the series is willing to take its death flags / dark themes. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I love you all so much. You have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.